Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you're doing well today. If you're watching this, it's probably Wednesday, April 8th. It might be the next day. Who knows? But I hope you're all doing well. A lot of people seem to do well with the ionic compound stuff, naming the nomenclature, naming ionic compounds and writing formulas for them. And that was good to see. What we're going to look at over the next week or so are things that formulas tell you about a compound. For instance, the formula for water is H2O. Okay, so what does that formula tell you about water as a substance? The first item we're going to look at today and next week is what's known as formula mass. Okay, now you're wondering, this mole information is sitting up here. What's that all about? The mole, of course, is a way of measuring mass by the number of atoms or molecules. Okay, 1 mole of something is this many things, 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd power, or this huge number. 1 mole of anything is that many things. Okay, so 1 mole of water molecules, 1 mole of these, would be this many water molecules. Now, and you might remember, like, wait a minute, hasn't he talked about this? I have much earlier in the year on Mole Day when I introduced this concept. Okay, because atoms and molecules are so small, 1 mole of them does not actually take up that much space. Okay, so for instance, the water in this cup, which is about 18 milliliters, okay, that's 1 mole of water. Believe it or not, in that cup are this many water molecules. Okay, that's a lot, but they're very small. Now, formula mass, which is what you'll get into today, tells you the mass of 1 mole of a substance in grams. Okay, because the mole is kind of a uniquely chemistry thing, maybe not as practical to measure in moles all the time. So you might want to know 1 mole of something, what is its mass in grams? And that's what the formula mass, get out of here, it's silly boy. That's what the formula mass tells you. What is the mass of 1 mole of a substance in grams? Okay, so 1 mole of water, which is about 18 milliliters, by the way, what is its mass in grams? Turns out for water, and you can see that there, 18 grams roughly is its formula mass. Okay, so this lesson is all about formula mass. What is it, and how do you calculate it? Okay, formula mass will differ for different compounds and elements depending on the size of the atom. For instance, the formula mass of gold, Au, the symbol, is 197 grams. 1 mole of gold has that mass. Okay, whereas 1 mole of helium is only 4 grams because helium atoms are much smaller than gold atoms. Okay, so what you're going to do here is you're going to continue watching the video, and there's a tutorial that will show you how to calculate formula mass. You're also going to need a calculator in some form and your periodic table. And please use the one from class. Use our periodic table from class. Okay, so continue watching. When you're finished with the tutorial, you'll then have a practice worksheet, a Google Doc, work on completing that, and that will be for completion. There might be a song here. I don't know. I guess not. Okay, everybody. Thanks very much. Oh, yeah. And who's down there? Say hi, Pete. Oh, there's Petey. Look at Petey. Yeah, and there's a kid down there. Say hi, guys. Okay, everybody. So, yeah, take care. Do your best. And have a good long weekend. All right, everybody. Take care. In this video, we'll take a look at the concept of formula mass. Formula mass tells you how many grams are in 1 mole
of a compound. So for any chemical compound, its formula mass is the mass in grams of 1 mole of the compound. Let's look at how to calculate formula mass. We'll look at calcium nitrate, CaNO3 too. Now, when you do formula mass, the first step is to pick apart the compound and inventory the atoms. So if we look at calcium, we have 1 atom of calcium. If we look at nitrogen, what happens is that the subscript outside of the parentheses carries through the parentheses, but does not apply to things outside of the parentheses. So 2 times 1, 1 being the subscript for nitrogen, that gives us 2 atoms of nitrogen. For the oxygen, 2 times 3, and that gives us 6 atoms of oxygen. So we have 1 calcium atom, 2 nitrogen atoms, and 6 oxygen atoms. Now the next step then is to multiply the number of atoms of each element by the element's average atomic mass from the periodic table. So for calcium, 1 times 40.08, and that gives us a sum of 40.08 for the calcium. For nitrogen, 2 times 14.01, that equals 28.02 in the compound, in the formula. In the formula, there are 2 nitrogen atoms. Finally, the oxygen, 6 times 16.00, that gives you 96.00. So that's the next step. Multiply the number of atoms of each element by the average atomic mass for the element. And again, the average atomic mass comes from the periodic table. The final step for formula mass is that we take these products for each element and we add them up. There we are. So we add up the products, 40.08, 28.02, 96.00. And when we do that for calcium nitrate, our sum, which is our formula mass, is 164.10 grams per mole. What that tells us is that 1 mole of calcium nitrate has a mass of 164.10 grams. That's formula mass. Now this will be important to know when we analyze chemical reactions that involve calcium nitrate. And we can make predictions in those reactions, in part using this formula mass.